Canada, America's top trading partner for decades, just dropped a bombshell, a full stop on all US auto imports. But this isn't just a tale of tariffs or political brinkmanship. It's about working families clinging to their livelihoods, dealerships going quiet, and communities holding their breath as the very foundation of their local economies wavers. In the aftermath of Prime Minister Mark Carney's bold stand and President Trump's hardline America First reply, one question echoes on both sides of the border. How did it come to this? What could push Canada to such a drastic measure? And what does it mean for the auto industry, from factory floors to showroom floors? This story is just getting started, and its next twist could reshape the future of North American trade. From tires to transmissions, an immediate crisis. The tariffs' impact was swift and sweeping. Factories that once thrived on seamless cross-border part flows now face choke points. Steel mills in Ontario have scaled back as orders vanished. In Quebec, electronics firms scramble for new suppliers. And in the prairie provinces, engine foundries have paused operations due to stalled US shipments. In Montreal, parts manufacturer Martin Desjardins unfolded a fax with trembling hands. A blunt suspension notice from a key US client. He dialed the buyer in Texas, hoping for leeway. "Any chance you can waive the duty?" he asked, voice tight with anxiety. The response was curt. "We're cutting all non-essential imports." The Canadian Manufacturers and Exporters Association estimated $400 million worth of auto parts now sit stranded at the border. And that's just the first domino to fall. As small manufacturers scrambled to adjust, consumers faced their own reckoning. The great Canadian road test car buyers across Canada suddenly had hard choices to make. A new survey from the Automotive Consumers Association showed that 60% of prospective buyers in Toronto and Vancouver now rule out US-made cars entirely. At a suburban Toronto dealership, the Singh family debated a new hybrid SUV. Ravinder Singh, a logistics manager, had his eye on a Ford Explorer, but the new tariff pushed it beyond their budget. His wife, Priya, pointed out a Japanese model on the lot, tariff-free and within reach. Ravinder hesitated, torn between loyalty to North American manufacturing and the reality of their finances. Inside, the dealership manager reviewed new instructions. Focus on European and Asian models. Highlight the features American brands can't match at current prices. Sales scripts were rewritten overnight. A training session was scheduled for the next morning. As the Singh family moved to test another vehicle, a salesperson quietly removed the sold sticker from a Ford Explorer. In the back office, the dealership owner reviewed grim forecasts. Traffic down 40%, inventory turnover tripled. The reality was sinking in. Brand loyalty alone won't save them. Economics now drive every decision, and US automakers are rapidly losing ground. Dealerships on the edge across Canada, dealerships are feeling the pressure. In Calgary, showroom visits have dropped 40%. Cars sit idle on lots for 90 days, 3 times the pre-tariff average. Sales manager Brian Hughes says walk-ins are down, cancellations are up, and buyers are spooked by American vehicle prices. In Halifax, loyal customers like Eleanor McIntyre are backing out of deals. She cancelled her pickup purchase, calling the tariff-driven price hike a deal-breaker. Dealers who once thrived on brand allegiance now face a reality where even the most faithful customers are looking elsewhere. Some have pivoted to non-American models to stay afloat, but with rising prices and cautious consumers, many fear financial collapse is near. Nationwide, the pressure is building, and the wider economy is beginning to show the strain. Supply chains under siege. A hush fell over Vancouver's port as cranes stood idle under pale skies. Across the country, auto parts, from brake systems to engine blocks, clogged rail lines and highway shoulders. Canada's just-in-time manufacturing model became a major liability overnight. In Windsor, the CEO of a major parts firm convened an emergency meeting. "We're facing a supply chain siege," he warned. A single disruption in this finely tuned machine could freeze entire industries. Analysts had long debated supply chain resilience, but nothing had prepared them for this. The Canadian Association of Manufacturers projected nearly $400 million in delayed parts in just the first month. Automakers across Ontario, Quebec, and the prairies slowed production or halted it entirely. Truckers like Leah Chong, stalled in BC, waited for clarity. If we can't move parts, she asked over coffee, what do we even haul next? Then came the alert. The impact was shifting south. The US feels the blowback. Michigan's assembly lines fell silent. Ohio's suppliers cut a third of their staff. Even in Texas, the shock was real. Engine parts stranded on railways. Projections warned of 4.4 million US jobs at risk if the boycott persisted. Senator Mary Cunningham of Michigan sounded the alarm on the Senate floor. Our manufacturing heartland is under siege. Local budgets crumbled as tax revenues dipped. In Detroit, teacher Robert Morales feared class sizes would swell beyond control due to education cuts. Polling showed 65% of residents in key manufacturing states believed the tariff conflict directly endangered their incomes. Community meetings in Toledo and Flint overflowed. Governors of Michigan, Ohio, and Texas issued joint pleas for resolution. As talks loomed, unrest brewed. Ottawa's counterstrike on Parliament Hill, Prime Minister Carney struck a measured but firm tone. Canada would retaliate, matching US tariffs on light trucks, SUVs, and passenger cars. Cabinet ministers debated the risks, but Carney stood firm. Canada wouldn't be treated like a junior partner. The opposition pounced, criticizing the sweeping response. But Carney unveiled a dual approach: tariffs to push back and incentives to push forward. Canadian-built EVs would now benefit from subsidies, tax credits, and low-interest loans. A move aimed at future-proofing the domestic industry. Social media exploded with hashtags like "Defend Canadian Jobs," alongside images of red maple leaves over charging stations. The message: resist pressure and invest in homegrown innovation. Small businesses in the crossfire. In a cramped Vancouver garage, mechanic Arav Sharma studied his tripled invoices. His daughter did homework nearby, looking up each time he sighed. Parts costs had doubled overnight. Revenue had dropped 70%. His shop, founded by his father 2 decades ago, now teetered on the edge. He drafted a plea for rent relief, a step he never imagined. Across the country, independent businesses laid off staff, hosted emergency town halls, and explored bulk orders or lobbying for relief. But the mood was grim. A call from a major distributor confirmed the worst. They were shutting Canadian operations immediately. Election fever, auto anxiety. As the boycott dragged on, political tides began to shift. Once solid Liberal ridings in Ontario turned shaky. Polls showed nearly half of voters in affected regions blamed the government. Opposition candidates rallied at shuttered dealerships, blaming Carney's overreach. Meanwhile, Carney toured the country, defending his stance as one of sovereignty and economic resilience. But internal advisers worried each speech reminded voters of the ongoing pain. Leaked documents suggested a leadership challenge was brewing within the Liberal caucus. The next election now looked like a referendum on the auto standoff. Union voices rise in Toronto. Hundreds of auto workers rallied outside their union hall. Jobs before tariffs banners flapped in the cold wind. Inside, leaders proposed a national jobs protection pact. Guarantees that workers wouldn't be sacrificed in this geopolitical standoff.